What's going on, boys and girls? We're gonna do a special sweet potato recipe today. This is one I've never done before, but it's something I want to try. Sweet potatoes are very easy to cook. There are many ways that you can cook them. We're gonna you can hear thunder in the background. We got a thunderstorm going on right now. Ooh, scary. But there are many ways you can cook sweet potatoes. These are gonna be a combination of boiling them and then roasting them. So just follow me along. I'm not going to give you exact measurements on the ingredients because there's so many different ways to do it. You just kind of have to cook and base it on your taste. Okay, now, so we're going to, of course, start off with just a couple of sweet potatoes. These are white sweet potatoes. We're going to use a little bit of avocado oil. We're going to use some paprika, some dill weed, some thyme, some cinnamon, some ground pepper, some dried rosemary, some ground cumin. And this combination right here is a combination, it's a house seasoning. It's got salt in it. It's probably 1 part salt and about 1/4 parts of black pepper, garlic powder, and onion powder. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna cut up our sweet potatoes, or we're gonna peel our sweet potatoes. Now you don't have to peel them, but works a little bit better. So we're gonna peel them. If you don't have a peeler, guys, you gotta get you one. And I think white sweet potatoes have a little bit of a different taste than your red sweet potatoes. These are a little bit more smoother. Sometimes they taste about the same though. Again, we just want to get all the little brown spots off of it. Not cooking a whole lot of these. That's why you kind of see me only with 2 of them. And then we'll come back when the other one is peeled. Alrighty, so we got the sweet potatoes peeled. Then I cut them in half. Then I cut that half into half. Then I cut it into quarters, and then I cut them into little individual parts right there. I'm sure you guys didn't want to see that part right there. So we're gonna go to where we boil these. Now it makes, you could roast these completely in the oven, but if you boil them a little bit, you don't have to have so much oven time. Alrighty, so we're gonna bring some water to a boil. We've done that. That's just regular water there. We're gonna add our sweet potatoes to it. Take our little mat here. Get all the sweet potatoes in there. And then we're gonna let that boil for about 10 minutes or so. You don't want them soft. You still want them to have a little bit of consistency, to kind of have a little bit of texture. You don't want them to be all mushy and stuff. So we're going to bring that to a boil and give the timer 10 minutes. Meanwhile, while that's beginning to boil, we want to preheat our oven to 350 degrees. Alrighty, our timer has gone off. So we want to see, we want to make sure that they're not too tender, and they're not. So again, we want to take that out, turn off the stove here, and then we're going to add it to the pan. We're going to take a colander. Alrighty, we're going to drain the potatoes off here. Just get you a colander, and every kitchen ought to have a colander. Colanders really do come in handy. Gonna let that drain. And see, they even have a different smell than regular sweet potatoes. That's why they're kind of milder. Okay, we're gonna let all that stuff drain off. All right, they've drained just a few seconds here. Just want to make sure there's no water coming out of them. So after they drain, let's pour it into another bowl here. We're gonna add some avocado oil. You can use coconut oil, you can use other oils. Avocado oil has a high heating point, guys, so it's real hard for it to burn. So we're just gonna add a little bit of that in there to kind of coat those things in there. Then we're gonna kind of move them around. I almost cooked these too much, so you may have to decrease your cooking time. I think they cook a little bit differently than regular sweet potatoes. So then we're gonna add our seasonings. So we're gonna start with a little bit of the house seasoning, just a little bit. You don't want very much in there. I'm gonna add a little bit of rosemary. Just sprinkle a little bit. Again, we're not giving you any specific amount here. Sprinkle a little bit there. That was probably 1/4 of a teaspoon, if you have to know specifics. Okay, we're gonna add a little bit of cumin, just a few little sprinkles. Cumin's kind of strong, so you gotta be careful with it. Gonna add a little bit of thyme. And this thyme, we're gonna take the lid off here. Put a little bit more thyme in there. Thyme's a really good herb. It'll add a special taste to it. And again, I'm not mixing them up with the spoon here. But if you notice, some of it's kind of falling apart somewhat, so they were a little bit overcooked somewhat. But that's kind of what happens. A little bit of cinnamon, just a tad bit. Cinnamon can be kind of powerful. And we're gonna add some dill weed. Just a few sprinkles of dill weed in there. We'll go ahead and add a little bit of paprika, just a little bit, not much. And then we're gonna add some, just a tad bit of black pepper, just to give it more of a kick. Okay. Okay, then we're going to put them on a baking sheet. Okay, we're going to add them to our baking sheet here. And we want to kind of make sure that they all stay out in one level here. All in one level. And again, they're almost overcooked. Almost overcooked. But you know, they already taste good. But so roasting them in the oven is going to just make them a much better meal here. Then we're just going to put those in the oven. Now, if you don't need them to cook immediately, you could just kind of cover them up with some foil and don't put them in the oven yet. I'm not quite ready for them, so I'm not going to put them in the oven yet. Alrighty, we got our oven set for 350. Go ahead and add our potatoes in there. And again, they're already pretty much cooked. So we're just going to heat them up a little bit. Now you can turn this on to broil as well, just to kind of give it a little bit of crispiness. So we're going to cook that for we're going to go about another 10 minutes or so, 7 to 10 minutes. Alrighty, that's been about 7 minutes or so. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase the temperature and put it under the broiler for just a second, just to kind of give it a little bit of a crust. Not much. You don't want to do it for long. Alrighty, we've let that broil for about 5 minutes. I don't want to overdo it. They got a little bit of brown on them there. And I think that's about as good as I want them to get, because they're already done. They were kind of done when I put them in there. White sweet potatoes I think they're a little bit less fibrous than the red one. So we're going to turn off the broiler and we'll take those out and we're going to try them. And that's how easy the recipe is, guys. Very simple, easy recipe. You can do it, in the span of really 30, 40 minutes. Alrighty, the true test is the taste. You can see a little bit of rosemary. Where's my camera? You see a little bit of rosemary on that thing right there. It's got a little bit of a char. Not a char, but just kind of a browning on it. Let's taste it. That's man, that is good. That's something else getting done. I'm going to show you another video with that right there getting done with some Brussels sprouts and all that. But that was really good. Very easy recipe, roasted white sweet potatoes, something you should try. Very simple, you'll enjoy it.